ahead and get started.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll call the Ad Hoc Budget Committee meeting to order. Mara sent out the this year's budget, and then the recommended budget for next year, which will be the same as this year. Basically, we don't have enough information on payables and that accounted for to know if there's any reason to adjust line items. And since we're not tied to having that we can't go over or under on a line item, there's, my understanding, there's no legal reason that we have to do anything. And it would make it easier, I think, for Mara as she looks into getting our accounts into, so we know where we're at on each of these line items. We really need to have this approved and ready to go at the next board meeting to get it completed before the end of the year. So that's kind of a short timeline, but actually it's about the same as last year when we met around this date and did this budget. The budget for next year is the same amount. It's been the same for at least the last 3 years. And that's fixed by the Department of Aviation, who gives us the total amount, and then we separate that out in categories and line items, as anyone mostly do. We've never, ever gone over the budget amount. So that doesn't, from what we can tell, doesn't seem to be a problem. And
Dr. Cooper, I'm sorry, I'm not sure of the rules because it's an ad hoc committee, but do we need to call a roll or anything?
oh, I'm sorry. I should.
It wasn't on the agenda. That's my fault. I apologize.
Okay.
But
Thanks for, yes, thanks
just for, yeah,
yes.
okay.
So we'll go back. I'm calling the meeting to order.
Okay,
And
sorry.
would you please take the roll?
District 86,
Yes, here.
District 234,
Here.
Village of Norwich,
Here.
Village of River Grove, no, Village of Schiller Park.
You're on
Here I am.
silent.
I'm sorry. Here I am.
Thank
Schiller
you.
Park is here.
Thank you. And Hanover Park.
Yes,
Thank
here.
you. Okay.
Okay, so Mara,
have a
besides where they're from, we should put the names too.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Do I
No,
need
that's
to
fine,
read-
just in the minutes.
in the minutes? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, all right. So you heard what I had to say. Are there any questions, comments, thoughts? We're still in transition, as you know. Mara's doing a great job pulling the stuff together, but finding some of it, we just didn't think we could come in with calculated numbers that would benefit by doing any changes for next year, since we have some flexibility and the budget would be the same. So any questions or comments?
No, I agree. Should be all kept the same.
Joe?
The only question I have, I talked to Mayor Sherwin about the ad hoc committee, search committee for an executive director. And he told me that the best way for him to do it is to go to the North Central conference, municipal conference. And for $3,500, they do a search for us and give us their top 5 candidates. And then we look at the top 5 candidates and determine which one we want. My question to you is first of all, as the budget committee, do you find that an appropriate thing to do? And second of all, is there $3,500 in the budget for that? Aaron,
So Chairman, you have a question about the 2021 budget?
Yeah, this is part of, this would be part of the 2021 budget, I'm assuming, because we wouldn't make the payment, I assume, until next year.
Will that be the 21-22 budget?
No, you have separate budgets for 21 and 22. Your fiscal year is the
Okay.
calendar year. So
Oh,
I
that's
think
right. Yeah.
I think Joe's questions are good. Do you want to hire somebody to help you with the search? And number two, what fiscal year do you want to incur the costs.
Thanks, Aaron.
Joe, who leads those searches? Is it people on the municipal conference? Is there a special committee?
I think
Is
they,
there
they
a
probably-
person?
I suspect they hire somebody out to do it and they get a discount.
So sorry, did you say, is it the West Central municipal? Because there's Northwest and West Central.
Northwest. No, it's not Northwest.
West
It's North-
Central.
North Central, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still confused. What is it?
North Central.
North
West-
Central.
No, West Central.
Duh.
No, I think Chairman has a specific organization in mind.
Well, he mentioned municipal conference, so there's either Northwest or West Central. I'm not aware of a North Central.
I think they have a, North Central goes through somebody that's cheap.
You mean Northwest?
No,
There is no North Central.
I keep saying North Central. I
West
apologize.
Central.
It's West Central.
Northwest,
It's West,
West Central.
It's West Central.
it's West Central. Schiller Park just used them for an employee and they recommended 5 and we interviewed them and we chose one, which happened to be, is gonna be starting today, which is very good.
Okay, thank you.
For
Rex.
West Central, that's who we use. For, I think it was the same amount of money.
Okay.
okay. All right, well, that's good to hear.
When we went through the process last time, how did we get Jeanette?
You did a search committee, and I can show you in the meeting minutes where that was announced in 2012. Brendan left in spring of 2012. Jeanette was named interim for about a period of 6 months, from essentially May to September, May through November. And Mayor Sherwin chaired the Ad Hoc Search Committee, and the committee took its time. I don't know the details, but Mayor Sherwin would.
But it wasn't a search firm then, was it?
No,
No.
I'm just curious, like, if a search firm were to do it, where are they getting their pool of candidates?
You'd have to ask Mayor Sherwin that.
Okay.
Correct.
I think that's one of the issues is getting the pool of candidates. Last time I was on that search committee, it was really difficult to get qualified candidates. And the biggest problem was during that time, they would come for a year and a half or two, they started to learn the issues for the O'Hare, and then they'd leave. And I think one of the things that drew us to recommending Jeanette was she really knew what was going on, and we thought would be stable, and obviously she was with us a long time. So I don't remember exactly how or where we advertised, if it was in the papers.
Here comes Dennis.
Flying in.
Hello.
Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis. What are you doing on a boat?
I'd like to show you, I was having trouble with my internet here today. It's a little slow, but I finally got on.
We're glad you're with us.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
No, I wish we were with him.
True.
So I guess my question I have is since it was so difficult last time to get a group of people qualified or qualified candidates, does this search firm guarantee that they're going to have a pool of candidates to go to? Like, do they have a larger reach? Because it almost seems like that.
With our
It's-
experience with Schiller Park, if I can throw for a second, I think they went out there and advertised for a certain position, and then whoever applied, they would vet the people, knock out who they don't think is qualified. We give them what the parameters what we're looking for, and they gave us 5, and they recommended 2, but gave us 5. Okay, and I think they do all the vetting for us. We give them the guidelines what we're looking for.
It almost seems like given all of us having other requirements in our life, that might be our best option.
Well worth the money, I thought. I thought it was gonna be a little expensive, but after, that was a part of the interview process with the candidates, and after sitting with them, and I thought it was well worth the money.
I will say that's very cheap in the world of searching for a superintendent. Those start at like 10 grand and
Yeah.
usually go upwards of 25. So 3,500 seems pretty cheap.
Yeah, and I'd be supportive of that too, because I know how long it took us to go through. And then you have the issue of who's on the search committee, trying to get them to meetings to interview all these various
Right.
candidates. So I think that's a reasonable amount. And
The question is, do we have that in the budget for 2021?
Is there money to be spent there?
I can show you if you'd like.
Sure. I mean, I know in fact, the budget's the same. I know we didn't really do a in-person strategic planning session for 2021, so we would have some money, it looks like.
I have it if you want me to share my screen.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, it's actually 2022, but it's,
Well, do you want me to show you where the 2021 is?
I can open it.
Just go to the folder that says 2021 ONCC financials.
Yeah, no, I just didn't have it like currently open. I have the 2022 currently open, but just 1 second, I'll get it.
well, you have
All right.
25,000 under consulting and communications.
That's for Fran and Maura. If there's surplus, that's fine.
Well, okay, Aaron, correct me now. Are you saying that you can't go over on a line item?
No, we don't hold you to that. So if you've got other line items, you can use that. That's fine.
As long as we don't go over the bottom line.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, so,
Because I can't, right, the bottom line is what's in my budget, so we would have an accounting bust, so you're fine.
yeah. So I'm saying you got the line item there. I don't know what it is, but if we go over, then we go over. Or we may look more carefully and be able to parcel part of it out to a different line item.
My only concern, Ray, as an outsider, is that we make sure that we know what we're spending our money on. To, as close to the dollar as we can. So it's fine if we go over, then that we have to subtract it from another budget and stuff, just as long as we know that we're doing it, we don't see it as a big pot of money that we could just spend.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
Chairman,
worried
my
about.
recommendation is this is a really good topic for the search committee. They can convene and have them take a vote that they want to hire a search firm. I mean, that
Yeah.
seems very reasonable.
Well, he already said he wants to hire a search firm. When I talked to him, he wants to hire a search firm. That's why I come to you asking, do we have the money and where is it coming from? That's all. And if we have the money and we have an idea where it's coming from, I can relay that back to Mayor Sherwin.
Well, the last amount, when it was the last budget report we got, would have been at the last board meeting Jeanette was at.
I
That
have,
would get,
I have
do you
the
have that?
July,
okay.
that's the most current.
What's the total in
Operating.
spent up to July, total budget amount?
So year-to-date actual shows $170,453.30. Can you see
So-
this operating activity?
Yes.
statement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
But we haven't processed any invoices since the end of July.
plenty.
So you have about $80,000,
Mm-hmm.
85,000 for the last few months. And I would think there would be no problem.
One thing to keep in mind is, I know there is, I mean, it's not like in the same category, but there is a significant credit for meetings with Cafe Le Cave from last year, because we did not meet in person and Jeanette paid ahead for the meetings. So I know there should be money available in that line item. For example, I know that's one place where there would be funds available.
Well,
Aaron?
we also have meeting foods and beverages.
Right,
We got a lot of money on that one.
right.
Aaron, can we add a line item to this current budget or maybe next year's to add for a search?
Yeah, trustee, you definitely can change the budget for 2022. I think if you wanted to change it for this year, Because the whole commission voted on this, you'd probably need to do an amended budget. I'm not sure it's worth it. I do think that there are a couple of line items here on the screen that are available for that search. So for example, the last line that says miscellaneous / contingency, there's a footnote below, but I don't think you're limited to that. So you're well under the 5,200 on the right-hand side for miscellaneous contingency.
Okay.
And quite honestly, you're well under on that salary line does not look right.
Yeah.
I don't understand how in 6 months you can pay 90% of the salaries for 12 months. So something does not look quite right on the 110, Maura.
Mhm.
Why, what about the payout?
That's still pending.
Okay.
So that's not an actual expense yet. So I think the question is sort of what's set aside from a budget perspective, or what we would call encumbered or accrued, versus what's actually paid out. And I can help Maura with that if you'd like. I do agree with Maura. There's a surplus in meeting expenses because you've only done 1 or 2 meetings this year in person, and those Cafe La Cave invoices were probably, paid on credit, and it's not an actual invoice. So I think if the search committee really wants to do a third-party search, I do believe that you have surplus available to use.
Okay.
All right, so.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hearing that, thanks for explaining the flexibility we have, Aaron. Appreciate that. We definitely should look into that salary line item.
Yeah, I can help Maura do a reconciliation just to double check.
That'd be great, Aaron. If we could get up to date and you could help her, that would really help us to know where we're at then.
Yeah.
Yes,
We've
we
talked-
can do that prior to the October meeting. I think Maura wants to get some invoices done and have financials approvable for the October meeting in a couple
Okay.
of weeks. So yes, that's something we can do.
Okay, so moving forward, any other questions?
Since we've talked about an anniversary, do we have to have a line item maybe for next year's budget for anniversaries expenses?
It depends, Brian. It depends if you want to do it for this year. If you were doing it for next year, yes, I would recommend a separate line item so that everybody's clear.
Well, I know we were talking a video. We probably got to get costs, so that's going to take a while. So maybe something for next year's budget. Just a thought.
Yeah, so that's actually a good question for the group. Are you more inclined to have a celebration event in the next 3 months, or do you think it's more likely that you would do it in 2022?
Well, as the chairman, I'm going to recommend 2022. I don't want to be in a room with a whole bunch of people yet. And not for probably the next 3 months, because the way it sounds, it may even get worse as time goes on. I'm talking about COVID.
I agree. With the holidays coming up, people are going to be getting together. Wait till next spring or summer.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that too.
Maybe we could have it outside in the tent.
Okay.
And as far as making a video, that would be under the PR communications and so on. So
Mhm.
you already have the line item.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Dr. Cooper, I've got some small edits that I want to just run through for your consideration.
okay,
At the top of the page, I would strongly recommend that we clarify if the salaries are for 1 person or for 2. Historically, there was a full-time executive director and a part-time assistant. And so the 115 traditionally represented 1.5 employees. And that benefits total was representative of what Jeanette was making currently. So I just want you to think about whether salaries and benefits is representative of 1 employee or 1.5. You don't have to decide today. Second thing.
I agree. It should be broken down a little more specific. I totally agree.
I think even just putting in parentheses 1 employees, 1.5 FTE, something to that effect helps everybody know. And for example, the 115 was essentially 75,000 was Jeanette's salary several years ago. And then the assistant was somewhere around 35 or 40. And that's how you got the 115. But the 25.4 for benefits is essentially equivalent to what Jeanette was making on her own. So the benefits is not indicative of 1.5 employees, just the salaries. So just food for thought.
So you're talking about a note on the budget more so than the amount.
Yeah, like if you look midway down the page, and they're up, like there's a line that says travel local and it says parentheses mileage parking. My recommendation would be on the very top line for salaries, just put something in parentheses 1.5 FTE, if that's what you want.
I have no problem with that. I think it's clearer that way.
Mhm.
And if the benefits is 1.0 FTE, then
Right, because what that means is if you hired an admin assistant, would you have budget for benefits?
well, the issue is we don't know what we'd be paying the new person next year yet. And what benefits we would negotiate.
I know, that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing that to your attention, so you can think about that. Because when the search committee's done, they're going to look to this committee to let them know how much money is available for compensation. Second item, next question for you. Can you tell me the difference between website management and website hosting and maintenance? Which firms are which?
It's the same firm, so one, the management is like, you know, sort of the back end, more technical updates. The hosting and maintenance is, you pay like an annual fee to have the site hosted, and then they conduct periodic maintenance and like hardware, software updates and things like that. So
Which
I
companies
don't know
are
why
they?
it's, I don't know why it's broken out. It's called, it's the Basecamp.
So do you think it's, right, I know that Jeanette would pay an invoice to TierraNet for the domain,
Oh, okay.
but that was nominal. So was it your impression that Basecamp was also doing website maintenance?
Yes.
Well, we may want to merge that because
Sure.
this implies two separate functions, therefore two separate firms. So maybe you and I can tighten that up and prepare a revised draft for the committee.
Sure.
Okay, third comment. We would like you to eliminate teleconferencing, that $100. I know it's nominal. We can provide that to you for free. So we would rather you take that $100 and use it for something else. Now, historically, Jeanette had an account with a company called Telspan. We've never really understood why that was there because we can give you teleconferencing services in our building for free. So we'd like you to consider eliminating that $100 and just reassigning it elsewhere. Two other things, I think. In the middle of the page under operating expenses, there's a line for contingency 2,100 and another line for other operating expenses 150. I would encourage the committee to combine those. I don't think you need the $150 for other operating. I would just roll it up into contingency just to streamline this and make it simpler. Next comment down below in meetings. The CDA is recommending residential committee 4 meetings. We don't have enough content to do 6 meetings. So I don't necessarily know if we need to reduce the 400, but we just want to clarify, we don't plan to do more than quarterly meetings next year. So we would change 6 to 4.
Aaron, I have a question on that. Let's just say I asked the residential sound committee to look into mitigation strategies for their communities. It may require 4 meetings. Is there flexibility there?
Sure. I mean, the residential committee did that years ago. So that's fine. That's totally normal. We're happy to help. We just, you know, in the next 2 months, you're going to have to approve your annual meeting schedule as well. And these last few years, we've been doing 4 meetings of residential committee, and oftentimes we skip one.
Okay. All right. So if they require more meetings, then we'll have, that's part of a flexible budget.
Sure, right, because the budget, Chairman, because we have our meetings at Niles Village Hall and I'm sorry, Norwich Village Hall, and Norwich is very generous. That is really expenses for refreshments. That's not like meeting hall expenses. So, you know, that's Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
The last thing, Maura, I can help you tighten up the names of these conferences. So I'll happy to work with you on that.
Sure.
Those are all the comments I have, Dr. Cooper.
I've just got one more question, and probably directed toward Aaron. Aaron, so we get a lump sum every year, and they don't look to see if we spend it all or not, because this year we may have a surplus.
Right. If you don't surplus it, it goes back into the, if you don't spend it, it goes back into the airport pot. Your budget is one line in my budget for my office.
Okay, so it doesn't affect our budget. They're not gonna look at it and say, hey, they didn't spend $20,000, we're gonna give them $20,000 less next year, because I know some.
Right. As Dr. Cooper
Yeah.
said, historically, the ONCC has always been under budget, and we're very happy about that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, if you don't use it, we will. Because at the end of the year, the reaper comes and reaps all the surplus.
Yeah. So my only, I have no problem with any of your suggestions for the changes, tighten those things up. That's good. I would like your opinion then on what to do for benefits on that line item. If we're going to show 1.5 FTE for salary, and does it make sense then to put 1.0 FTE for benefits?
Well, what I would recommend is increasing the benefit. If the salaries is going to be 1.5 or even 1.25, then I would have the benefits match, because you don't want to have a situation where you offer an assistant a job and say, well, we can pay you salary, but we can't pay you benefits because it's not in the budget. So
Okay.
I would recommend moving money around to increase the benefits to be commensurate with the salaries.
Okay.
And I
So-
think we could do that. I think I could help Maura rework the numbers, right? To the point that was made earlier about reviewing the financials to get really accurate information. I think if Maura and I did a reconciliation in the next week or two, we could move money around and still keep the total the same. And in doing so, increase the benefits to be 1.5 FTE.
Oh, yeah, because I don't want to put her out on a limb expecting her to do this by herself.
Right.
We
I
don't have
agree.
the timeline. So
Agree.
if you're volunteering to do that, first, I appreciate that, because it's always better to know really what our numbers are. It's not, I ran budgets too. Most important thing is, what do you have and what's left and where's it going?
Right.
So all of those questions you have, which we're very fortunate to have your expertise there. Now, when's our executive meeting? Is that Monday?
It is Monday. Yeah.
See, we really need, Aaron, to give them a budget to approve for the meeting in October.
which is
Yeah, just so
October
you
1st.
have a fallback. Your bylaws require you to approve it 30 days before the end of the calendar year. So if push came to shove, you could approve it at your November meeting on November 5th. You do
Uh-huh.
not have to approve it at the October, but you are certainly welcome to do so.
My choice would be to try to get it done if we can move things together. If we can't, I don't want to sacrifice accuracy for speed.
Okay, Maura, do you have time to come to the office this week? Because
Yes.
in order for, you and I have a bit of work to do.
Yeah.
Right, and I need to get you on the calendar.
Mhm.
I think one goal is to reconcile the financials January through August.
Yeah.
Right, so whatever months you have, you can get financials approved at the October meeting.
Right.
And then I think reviewing those will help inform this budget, and we can prepare a revised draft.
Sure.
Okay,
So will the budget committee need to meet again before the executive committee? Before next Monday?
Well, technically they should, because they
So-
should.
So the question is, if the budget committee wants to quote unquote approve a draft budget and recommend it to full commission, yes, that can be done in the next 11 days, right? We can review a draft, have the budget committee meet. The question is whether that can be done before putting it to exec. Now, I don't know that exec needs to see it,
Right.
or we can prepare a revised draft by the end of the week and show it to both committees.
Joe, how do you feel about that as an exec member?
I think I'll be honest with you, as an executive member, I'd like to see the budget that's gonna be put forth. I mean, obviously, I don't think we need to vote on it or anything, but just something to talk about at the exec meeting. This is the tentative budget. Something to show the executive committee, this is our tentative budget, it's not final yet, but this is what's coming,
Right.
that's all.
Well, yeah.
I agree.
Anyone else have a comment?
And I say that because I think the executive committee needs to be more aware of these kinds of things, because I think in the past, it was just shoved onto the budget committee, and the executive committee was like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. And then we would move on. I just want them to be more cognizant of what's going on financially.
Okay.
And showing them
so-
a tentative budget would be better than nothing. That's all.
Okay, I guess my question is, does the budget committee need to approve the budget before next Monday's executive committee meeting?
No, not, if you call it a tentative budget, it doesn't have to be approved yet.
But they do need to approve it before the general meeting.
That's advisable because if the other members of the commission say, well, did the budget committee approve the budget? And if you were to say, well, no, that's not wrong,
Mhm.
but it would be better if budget committee approved the budget.
Yes,
So
yeah.
to me, it seems like we could divide and conquer, right? As long as both exec and budget are meeting in the next 11 days,
Mhm.
right? Like, I think Chairman Annunzio's point is well taken. If we give a revised draft to exec committee, at least they have a sense for what's coming.
Sure.
And the budget committee could meet between now and next Friday.
Okay,
I'm comfortable with that. How about the rest of the members on the budget committee?
I agree. I think it's a good idea.
I agree
Yes.
too.
I agree.
Sheila Park agrees, but I don't think Sheila Park can attend the meeting because I'm tied up every day.
Oh,
okay.
But hopefully you still have a quorum. Because I'm looking at my calendar right now.
Dennis, you're gonna have to show up no matter what island you're sitting on.
We do have a fly quiet meeting on Thursday, which I will be there for though. We can do it
Okay.
after that possibly, for me. But
Yeah.
again, don't make it around me.
Oh, Aaron, is Aaron still
I'll
here?
be home on Sunday, so
What's the date again?
I'll be home Sunday. So, But-
Dr. Kelso, which date do you mean?
That you want to meet again?
Russ was suggesting Thursday.
After our
This-
fly
this
quiet meeting
Thursday.
possibly.
this Thursday?
yep, I'll be here for the meeting, so. As long as the internet holds up.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a quick meeting. We'll see it and just approve it as our budget and then it'll move on to the exec.
We can probably do it before the meeting too, if you wish, 9 o'clock.
Aaron, do you think we can get everything hammered out before Thursday?
Yes, but we're gonna have to push, like you and I are gonna have to do a 2 or 3 hour work session.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Aaron and Mara.
Do you
I will-
have capacity for that this week?
Yes,
There are,
yes, I can,
Make it work.
yeah, I think we could do a little time tomorrow and we could do a big chunk on Wednesday
Yes.
morning.
Yeah, I'm open all day Wednesday, so.
Okay.
And tomorrow I can do tomorrow. Okay, so we will, Aaron and I will meet and put together a revised budget and
Yes.
reconciliation through the end of August. And then, so we're looking at Thursday morning, either before, I guess before maybe would be better, because we don't know what for sure what time fly quiet would end. What is
It better end
everyone?
by, if it starts at 9:30, it's gotta end by 11.
Oh, that's
It's the
true.
rule, remember?
Aaron, what's your schedule like?
After would be better.
After better, okay. So 11 on Thursday,
Yeah, that sounds good.
All
can
right,
everybody make that?
Okay,
on
yes,
Yes.
yes.
7 on Thursday, okay.
That works for me,
11.
thank you.
11, yeah.
I'll just have a little less time in the sun, that's all.
Quit rubbing
Just
it
sit out on
in.
Lido deck or something?
Just take care of yourself and wear a mask when you're on that boat, will you?
We know you're gonna use the coconut phone.
Okay, this meeting is deteriorating.
Well, you're chairman, get it in order.
I know, I mean.
He needs a
fire
gavel.
me,
Yeah.
Fire me. All right. So before we adjourn, I'd like to thank everyone for volunteering their time. It was a good conversation and it will, because of Aaron and Mara, we'll be able to do, I didn't think we'd have time to get these numbers together, kind of going into the dark, but it looks like we're going to be able to do this, which will really give us all a sigh of relief to know where we're at, what's been spent, and anything we know that's still coming forward to anticipate expenses this year. And one of the things that was left hanging, I think, is we had an audit in place going for, I don't know if it was last year. I don't know if that was ever completed. Do you know, Mara? Did we get an audit?
I saw something about 2018 or 2019.
That's what I think I saw. Somebody completed an audit of
We had
2018.
one, they were supposed to do the next year.
Yeah.
The last information I got was it was completed. They just had to do the paperwork.
Okay.
So we'll need to
Yeah,
put
let
a
me check
call.
on that. Yeah.
All right, and if, so then you'll let me know on that. We may have to use some influence with him to get that done. We're such a small potatoes job that, you know, it goes to the back burner. So
Sure.
anyway, so that's the last item.
Yeah.
Any more business for the committee? If not, take a motion to adjourn.
I have to call the, well,
You had, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I moved Jennifer, right?
Sure, I'll move.
Seconded by Brian.
Thank you.
All in favor?
I have to,
Hey,
You
roll
have to do
call.
a
We have to do
roll
roll
call.
Voice
call,
vote.
right?
Roll call.
Okay, Dr. Cooper,
Yes,
Dr. Kelsall,
Yes.
Brian Gazer,
Yes.
Dennis Ryan,
Yes.
Russ Klug,
Yes.
and Trustee Kunkel.
yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Goodbye,
Thanks, everyone.
Okay,
Bye,
take care.
everyone.
Thursday.
Yep,
Thank
see everybody
Thursday.
Thank you,
Thursday.
hard work, AJ.